Right, companies that produce household cleaning products are working overtime to try and make sure that they can satisfy the spike in consumer demand because of the coronavirus. Right now, let's welcome our next guest. Laxman Narasimhan is the CEO of Reckitt Benckiser. They're the maker of Lysol and a lot of other household products, soaps and sanitizers. I want to thank you for being with us this morning, Laxman. I know you're a global company, and you've been watching coronavirus kind of play out around the globe. Why don't you tell us what you first saw and when you first started trying to change your operations to meet demand?
Good morning, Becky. One of our largest factories for Dettol, which is like a Lysol-type product, is actually in Hubei province, not that far from Wuhan. The team has seen the spike in demand in China. We've worked very closely with the Chinese government. Our front line has been tremendous in terms of stepping up to demand. And, we've essentially, in a lot of ways, done a lot of things in China, both to protect our people, serve consumers, as well as serve our customers. We're now seeing this play out around the world. And what we are doing is doing our part in trying to ensure that our people are safe, our consumers and customers are served, and that we do our part as well in helping out.
What does that mean when you see this massive demand for all kinds of things, from drugs to sanitizers? How can you actually ramp things up? I've heard from, when we talked to the Target CEO earlier this week, Brian Cornell, he told us that some of the suppliers he'd been working with for things like Purell maybe had been working 1 8-hour shift in the past, but they were trying to ramp up to 3 8-hour shifts so that they were working the factories around the clock. Is that what you're doing?
We've been working around the clock in many of our factories since the middle to the end of January, because we saw this thing obviously happen in parts of Asia. It's not easy. We're asking a lot of our front line, so the protection and safety of our front line is incredibly important. And I'm very proud of our team in China and how they stood up and responded to this. In a very similar way, our team in the U.S. is working absolutely flat out to meet the demand. We're also looking at very non-traditional things, working closely with our customers, simplifying our portfolio, ensuring that we prioritize those things that really matter to consumers, and finding ways to stay in very close contact with our customers. I mean, I've been in touch with 125 of our customers around the world just to ensure they know that we are operating on their behalf, and we'll do everything we can to keep shelves as full as we can. But there's no question the demand in some cases is higher than what we're able to supply.
Hey, Laxman, it's Andrew here. Just wanted to understand the experience in China, what demand looks like there, but also I know you have factories there, what you're doing for your employees. Are all the employees back at work? Do they wear masks? Do they not? How does this work?
China was a very sort of, when we saw this happen, and, our factories, as I said, have worked all the way through. The Dettol factory actually worked all the way through for the Chinese New Year holiday. We went through a process of ensuring, first of all, the safety of our people, working closely with local authorities and following every single rule. But this idea of checking, testing, tracing, isolating, worked very well. We haven't had that one of our factory workers actually had any exposure. We rented a couple of hotels near the factories. If people wanted to actually stay there, they could, and some of them chose to do just that. We have scaled some of the learnings we've had from China across all our various factories. If I were to, characterize what we are doing around our people, is just ensuring that physical health is a very big part of this. But we can't forget also mental health. We've moved into a work from home, particularly for our global offices around the world. China has just opened up, and so people are going back to work in China. And people in China are wearing masks. They are maintaining the rules on distance. They're being very careful. But, we're open for business in China, and it's slowly coming back.
Hey, Laxman, I'm guessing you're doing what all of us are doing, which is just trying to figure out how long this is going to last, how much demand might be created for this, when things might go back to a little bit more of a normal situation. How do you possibly staff up or plan for that or make your plans accordingly? It seems like an impossible task.
Becky, it is very difficult. In the short term, what we are prioritizing is we are prioritizing and meeting the demands of our consumers and customers and focusing on our people. That's really taking 120% of our time. In parallel, though, I am beginning to think about what this means for the medium to long term. There are shifts taking place, and these shifts are, there's three areas of change. Clearly, change is taking place with the consumer, what they buy, and whether that will sustain or not. How they buy, we're clearly seeing e-commerce, omni-channel grow, but also how they get informed. And I'll give you a statistic on this. One of the things that we've been doing recently, we just announced this fund. We announced a fund. We've put aside 1% of our operating profit into a fund to ensure that we get access of products, of information to change behavior. But consumers are changing the way they get informed. We did a partnership with TikTok. One statistic for you, globally, only 17% of people wash their hands after going to the toilet.
What?
The partnership at 17%. This is a statistic. From UNICEF. By the way, it's not that if you look at the developed markets, look at the study done by the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine, a third of men and 64% of women wash their hands after going to the toilet. And despite the fact that 99% of people will tell you that they did, 99%, hand washing is a big deal. The partnership with TikTok was really around driving behavior change. In the last 10 days, this earworm of a song, of which we've seen a large number of videos come, has now been viewed by 24.1. It's been viewed 24.1 billion times. So consumers are changing what they buy, how they buy, and how they get informed. The second is business is also changing. Clearly, you've got people first. The short term, as I said, the focus on supply. But long term, the focus on resilience, on innovation, and on sustainability will happen. And clearly, we need time in order for us to do that. But the third change you're seeing clearly, and this is natural in an era like this, is leadership. And you're seeing character, what choices people are making, either at the factory or right at the top of the house. How we interact with the world, and how we ensure that we are partnering with local authorities, with governments all around the world. I mean, it's not an easy job for them at all. And so what we're seeing is these three dimensions of change. And the test for a great company in the future is how we respond to this.
Right. Laxman, I want to thank you for your time. We will have you back again to talk more about this because obviously consumer patterns are going to change. I hope those numbers for the people who are washing their hands increase drastically and that as a result you guys sell a lot more soap. Thank you for being with us today, and we'll talk to you again soon.